So paper can only be recycled 5 to 7 times.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because every time it's recycled, it breaks down a little bit. It's like at a certain point, the fibers are just too brittle and it doesn't turn into it's just a big pile of mush, I guess.
Okay.
So that kind of sucks. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. Just the same as I was 3 minutes ago.
I know. Just to inform our audience here, we record 2 episodes a night usually, so you may be hearing the same background noise as you did in a previous episode. You're not hallucinating.
Same dog.
I still have the same frog in my throat that I'm going to be hacking up now. Yeah, same dog issues. My dog is in the kitchen currently.
Yeah, he wants to come in though. My
No,
dog's locked upstairs.
Yeah, she's got a family to deal with though.
Yeah, well, my dog needs to be locked upstairs because she is a whiner. I don't know if anybody else has a whiny dog, but it is the bane of my existence.
Oh, it's especially if you're recording something. My dog's a farter, which you don't get it over the airwaves, but he is a room clearer for sure. And
silent but deadly.
Yes. Well, they're not silent anymore either. He's getting older.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a common occurrence in my house to hear somebody say, Emmett. Oh.
That's funny.
It's cute. I miss his farts when I'm gone. Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, I have a really quick update about my pollinator garden.
Yes.
God. Talk about a learning process. So, all right. Everything was going great for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I decided to buy some petunias.
Oh, no.
Okay, even you. God damn it.
Who not petunias? Oh, no.
All right, so you know where this is going. So I basically created like a trough for the deer. And they're like, yay.
This is favorite.
My favorite
Just
snack.
throw some nasturtiums in there and they'll be like, delicious.
Well, they're gone. So we don't have to worry about the petunias anymore. They were so pretty, though. It's so sad.
They're gorgeous. They really are.
Yes, but so not only are the petunias gone, but the deer decided to eat the hell out of my black-eyed Susans, which I had also planted and spent a lot of money on. And my aster, both things I look up and they're like, oh, definitely deer food resistant.
They said they're deer resistant. Oh, yes. Lies.
Yeah, well, my mother-in-law was saying that a lot of people have been telling her that the deer are eating things that they don't normally eat this year. And I'm like, what is wrong with these? Yeah, these freaking robot, like,
for one, welcome our deer overlords.
Oh my God, I'm so mad. Okay. So that happened, and then I'm a moron. And I looked up things that you don't want to trust online are things like DIY deer spray.
Oh, Lord. How many children did you kill?
Sacrificed a couple for their blood. No. So I'm a dingus, and I just didn't think it through, but I was in panic mode, like, gotta get the deer. And so one DIY recipe used essential oils, actually, which is funny, but it was vinegar, straight up vinegar, and peppermint with essential oil. Did it. Charlie helped me.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there, spray. And the next day they were like,
yeah, the plants are like, guess who doesn't like vinegar? Plants.
I'm like, in hindsight, I shouldn't have
trusted. Did I say it's caustic and you shouldn't probably use it directly on your skin? Or I think that was a major point.
Or your plants. God. It was just one of those like, I gotta fix this and I don't have time to go to the store, so let's just throw some shit in a bottle and spray it, and it just didn't work out at all.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Well, I know. Some of them might still survive. Like the aster is fine. It's pretty hardy. The black-eyed Susan's just unhappy, so I'm probably gonna have to suck it up and just get new ones. But anyway, I'm hopefully gonna get some flowers for these damn bees that I'm trying to support.
Could you do cinnamon or like chili powder?
Well, I ended up just I just ordered
actual deer
spray.
repellent. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't care. I'm using an extra bottle. I ordered it from Amazon. I don't care. So
enough.
I'm saving these plants because I've been babying them. I've been
Yeah.
going out there and watering them and taking care of them, making
And
sure
you talk to them.
I talk to them. I
Yeah,
read them
good.
book, like
Yeah.
bedtime stories.
Bedtime stories. They're all very well versed in Grimm's fairy tales
They love Hansel and Gretel.
for some reason.
So anyway, that's my update. It's been an adventure, but you know, I have heard the best gardener is the one who kills the most plants because
Well, you have to experiment. Yeah.
you have to live and learn. And
Yeah. The best bakers are the one who throw away the most cookies. So
exactly.
And you could never trust a skinny cook. I've heard.
All of the proverbs.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my update.
Okay.
Wah, wah. But it's going to bounce back and it's going to be great one day.
I can't wait for actual photos.
God. Yeah, now they'd be really ugly. They were pretty for a
I want to
minute.
see them.
It's just everything's like shriveled, but
Yeah. Oh.
yeah, we'll get there.
Next year.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Well, so on that note, what are we actually supposed to be talking about tonight?
Good question.
Did you forget?
No. I remember.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to mute myself. It was like I needed to clear my throat.
No, I'm just clearing my throat and hoping you'll edit it out in post.
Okay, so. That's fair. Just trying to mute myself, but it's like minimized to where I can't tell which is which. All right. We're talking about paper recycling today. Yes. I do remember and I do know.
Excellent.
It's great.
I can't wait. I'm really interested to learn about this.
Yeah, I was really interested because of like all the Amazon boxes that everybody gets these days. Not just Amazon, but anywhere.
I mean, yeah, it's not like it slowed down after the pandemic. It's like we're all still getting stuff delivered all the time.
Absolutely. So, buckle up. So a little bit about my sources. So I used citizensustainable.com. I think you use them for aluminum, but they have
I think there's a lot of like Citizen Green, Citizen whatever.
Right. Oh, that might have been it. Yeah,
people love their Citizen plus eco-friendly term.
Yes.
Yeah.
On recycling paper and recycling cardboard, two different articles, and sciencefocus.com, which is a BBC thing. They had an article, is recycling paper bad for the environment?
Ah, yes.
And treehugger.com also had an article, basically the same topic. It was pretty interesting. Reuters, there's just a quick story I'm telling you about a billionaire named Robert Kraft and his paper mill.
Ooh.
His little neighborhood paper mill and the pollution of the year.
Wow.
greenamerica.org talks about landfill methane and methane produced by paper being in the landfill.
Ooh.
The NIH talks about toxic surfactants used during recycling. Calrecycle.com talks about totally chlorine-free recycling processes. UNICEF, I found an article by UNICEF about how to reduce your paper use, and they had some kind of cool ideas. And then Green Matters, they talk about reducing your cardboard use. So we're going to get into all of that. A little bit about paper to start. I was telling Kat before the episode started that I went a little light on the research on this one because I was like, I usually get too heavy, too much. And I literally wrote paper-thin, paperboard-a bit thicker, sometimes called cardboard.
This is really deep. I think this is some lowest common denominator shit you're doing here.
What is paper? I don't know.
I don't know if you've heard of it. Probably like in 10 years, people will be like, what are they talking about?
Maybe, actually. And then I also followed up with cardboard, thick, you know what it is.
Well done, ma'am. Well done.
Oh my God.
Really in-depth research at Grading Up My Act. Oof.
I did great research on this, 100%. I swear. Okay. The interesting thing is, well, first off, the way it's made, I don't have like all the details, but it's funny because aluminum is made with such an intense process. You need like electricity. I mean, you need electricity for obviously for
Everything. Yeah.
everything, but paper is made by like mashing up
Yeah.
wood, like some trees
Pulp.
into a pulp,
Yeah.
and then flattening it out and turning it into paper and
Have you?
bleaching it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Have you ever made your own paper?
Maybe in like school.
Yeah, we did
That's
for like
ringing
Earth Day one time, and like took some newspaper, put it in a blender with water, and then laid it out flat to dry. Put flowers on it. Like, da paper.
Yes,
It's so easy.
it is. Did you actually use it?
I don't think so.
That's
I
the
think
question.
that's
It's like so
like,
bumpy that you can't
yeah,
even write
you're
on
like,
it.
happy birthday, grandma.
Let me write over this violet that I
Yeah,
stuck
exactly.
in this paper. Yeah. But yeah, it's true. It's like it's not a very complicated process. But the interesting thing, the EPA said in 2018, which was also the EPA needs to get up on its stats because that
I
was
think they were decimated in the past few years. I don't
the
think they
year
almost,
is making sense.
yeah, they kind
2018.
of don't exist as much as they used to.
God, fun times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would be nice if we had more recent stats, but
Mhm.
in 2018, paper and paperboard, which they refer to as cardboard, other places it's called paperboard, like
They
more like
differentiate between
more like a cereal box.
what I've
But
heard, like, yeah, chip cardboard is sometimes what paper cardboard is referred to too.
oh, I don't know. I hadn't
Maybe.
heard that.
I'll look it up while you keep talking. Let me throw my phone on the earth. You're firing on all cylinders tonight. Firing.
Firen.
I just flung my slipper across the room too. I am on fuego. All right. I'm gonna look up chip cardboard while you keep going.
Okay. So paper, basically, paper and materials comprise the largest component of municipal solid waste.
Oh wow.
Isn't
Really?
that crazy? So like most waste in
That's
a
crazy.
landfill is cardboard or paper.
Even though they're recyclable?
Even though. So but there's that, but there's actually less of it heading to the landfill each year currently than from like 1960.
Oh well, that's good to know.
So
Wow.
that's kind of interesting.
Even
And that's
though the
because of
population has
recycling.
increased in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Chipboard is a packaging product made from wood pulp. It's thicker and sturdier than a sheet of paper. It doesn't have the corrugated channels inside that most cardboard does. So
Okay.
chipboard, that's chipboard. That's what your cereal boxes and things are made from.
Okay. They called it paperboard, but
I think it's probably the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cardboard's usually corrugated, which we all know what that is. So So a bit about recycling paper. So not all paper is recyclable. When you think about it, it's kind of obvious. Like I looked up my county and our recycling center does not accept windowed envelopes. So because it has that
because the
little
plastic. Yep.
I wonder if you could just take the plastic. You probably
do.
could just take the plastic
do.
out. You do?
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. I think I throw it all in and then it just.
I know. I have in the
100%
past,
goes.
and then somebody told me that, and I was like, oh, duh.
Yeah,
If you have to
makes sense.
separate it out anyway, yeah. So,
and some of them don't have the little window. They don't have the plastic. It's just a window, and I'm like,
that one's fine.
Why do we need Why do we need plastic anyway?
Right. Yeah.
Moving on.
So your check doesn't fall out. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Wax paper, at least in my county, you can't. Paper towels, napkins, paper plates, laminated paper, and paper that can't be easily torn. None of these are recyclable in my area.
Okay.
Which is helpful to know because I think I've put all of these things into my recycling
I have
bin.
definitely finished a wine and cheese party, and everybody has put their paper plate into the recycling. And I'm like, covered in cheese,
especially if it's dirty, it's not going to get recycled. But I mean, so that's the thing. You need to look up your county. Yeah. So each county has a website, and it should tell you, as long as you have a recycling,
Well, Austin obviously does. We're way ahead of the times.
Right. Yeah. So, but you can look it up. So that is actually kind of important to do because otherwise it's just going to get, I don't know, it just clogs up the system and you don't just throw it in the trash if it isn't recyclable.
Unfortunately.
It also
just don't use it.
Yeah. Well, that too. It also must be clean and dry. And that one interesting thing I found is if it gets wet, you can dry it out. Wet with like water. Oil's different, but you can dry it out before you recycle it and it's recyclable. I always wondered that. But yeah, that's totally an option. So just sit in the sun for a minute.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. So paper can only be recycled 5 to 7 times.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because every time it's recycled, it breaks down a little bit. So at the end of its life, it's made into things like egg cartons or newspapers.
Okay. And those,
And then
okay.
you can actually recycle a newspaper, but then it's like at a certain point, the fibers are just too brittle and it doesn't turn into, it's just a big pile of mush, I guess.
Okay.
So that kind of sucks. It's not infinite like aluminum.
Yeah. Well, aluminum is superior.
Although the amazing thing is recycling rates are better. So these are the 2018 EPA recycling rates. They're better than aluminum because aluminum was like 50%, right?
Yeah.
And so paper and paperboard is 68%. Newspapers are 65%. But then and corrugated boxes are the king at 97%.
Wow.
Which is like pretty good.
That is. Go Amazon, I guess.
Yeah. And Amazon actually has an option that I'll get into a little bit later that can help you reduce your Amazon impact.
Okay.
But then paper containers and packaging that are not including corrugated boxes, only 21%. So like your box that comes in everything comes in a box. I don't know.
Right.
Like your makeup container comes
Right.
in a box. That kind of stuff doesn't get recycled.
Interesting. I mean, I make a point of it, even though I have to walk from my bathroom to the kitchen,
Yeah, and maybe that's why, because
it's just easier to throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I also thought, and maybe you'll get into this, but I thought chipboard or paperboard wasn't recyclable. But it just depends on what county you are in or whatever.
I think so. Yes. Okay. It's not always. So, yeah, it really depends on where you live. So, let's start with so those are the recycling rates. They're pretty good for paper, but like I said,
that's huge.
But it's only 5 to 7 times.
Interesting.
So why not recycle? I'm doing the exact same thing you did. I was like, man.
Full disclosure, I looked at yours first and saw how you outlined it.
Okay, I was like,
mine.
I was like, did we just do that accidentally? That's so amazing.
Oh yeah, total mind meld. Yeah, we're.
Oh yeah.
Simpatico.
I love it. Okay, so why not recycle paper? So there are toxic surfactants, as I mentioned, that they de-ink the paper during recycling.
Of course.
And yeah, because you have to get the ink off and the graphics and whatever.
Yeah.
And then paper pulp is also bleached to add brightness. So, they use bleach, and in a manufacturing setting, bleach is not great.
Yeah, we know that from our bleach episode.
Yes. And we're just like, we keep muting and coughing.
Muting and taking turns coughing.
This is sad. We're sick again. We're
just dying. It's fine.
But the use of chlorine has decreased over the years, and it's been replaced by what calrecycle.com calls totally chlorine-free processes.
So they're still bleaching it, but not with chlorine bleach?
I guess so, yeah.
Are they using OxyClean? UV,
maybe? No, I don't know.
Many bleaching methods that we've discussed on the show.
Sun bleaching, yeah.
Lemons.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they are using these days, but apparently it's not chlorine. So,
okay,
that's good. Another thing about recycling paper, it produces a sludge that ends up in landfills.
Yum.
So that's not delicious, but yeah. So there's always going to be some kind of byproduct, right? Also, paper is easily contaminated. So it's like, get any kind of oil on it, get any kind of food on it, and it's like, you're not going to absorb it off.
Yeah, forget it. It's not like you can't rinse it like aluminum foil.
Yes. Another really interesting thing is that BBC Science Focus says modern paper mills normally generate their energy from burning waste wood, so wood that would otherwise be thrown away. So that's like a paper mill producing new paper, whereas
Interesting.
recycling plants often rely on electricity from fossil fuels.
Well, burnt wood is a fossil fuel, but it's not. Well, I guess it's not oil or gas. Interesting. So I wonder if it's half a dozen of one, six of the other. Because you don't. I mean, burning wood causes.
Right. Burning wood's not great either, I guess, but it's different than burning.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. But I found that kind of interesting. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to go into why recycle.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasons why we want to recycle paper.
Okay.
So it uses about 50% less water and 60% less energy than creating new paper products.
Makes
So
sense.
no
Yeah.
matter how the energy is being, where the energy is coming from, there's a 60% less of it to recycle.
Okay.
And Tree Hugger says the pulp and paper industry uses more water to produce a ton of product than any other industry. So the water usage is really bad, which makes sense because you got to
Whoa.
turn it into a pulp. And
Yeah. Wow. I mean, of course, I sit here looking at my bullet journal guiltily.
Right. I'm also a paper planner kind of person.
Yeah, you and I we're both journalers, and I mean, we're writers. There's just something about my pen stash here.
I know. Oh, it's pretty.
Thank you. Thank you.
And books too. I'll get into books a little bit, but yeah, I'm not a Kindler for the most part. I have a very old one from my husband.
I have one. Yeah, for traveling, sometimes it's nice, especially if you're going to be gone for a long time and you don't want to carry a bunch of books with you. But I prefer paper books for sure.
Yes, me too.
I'm an old school romantic.
Well, so I have good news for you there later.
Oh, goody! I like good news.
Which you already know, but it's just connecting the dots here. But
okay.
So Science Focus says that there's 74% less air pollution created when recycling paper than making new paper.
Oh, wow.
And this is where that billionaire comes in. It's kind of an interesting story. This is just an example of a new, like a paper manufacturer, so not a recycling plant. And first off, the EPA identifies methanol, all of these hazardous air pollutants like formaldehyde.
Oh, yikes.
Acetaldehyde. I don't know how to say it.
Acetaldehyde or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, you know how to say it?
I just made that up.
Okay. So paper plants emit large quantities of all of these things, and there are limits there are limits to how much they're supposed to be able to put into the air.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2021, which was very recent, billionaire Robert Kraft, probably from, I don't know if he's from the Kraft family.
The Kraft family.
A Kraft.
Mm-hmm.
He was sued for large release of hydrogen sulfide, a gas that smells like rotten eggs. Let me make sure I cite this source. Oh, this is a Reuters article. Smells like rotten eggs and causes headaches and even death in concentrated doses.
Oh my God.
So he had this paper mill that I think this article said that it was like the biggest polluter in the country.
Wow.
And
just for fun.
Just for funsies. Well, so he bought this paper mill and I think it got way worse because I don't know. He changed some stuff and made it worse. And so there have been like federal and state orders to reduce its emissions, but the article says, quote, however, no regulatory action has been taken against the mill for releasing soot or small particulates at levels exceeding mills run by larger rivals and by the country's largest oil refineries.
Oh my God. Oil refineries, dude. You're making paper. What?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
So making new paper is not great.
Apparently not.
Definitely something we need to chill out with on our usage. And so I mentioned that recycling paper also uses chemicals, but despite that, recycled paper has a lower chemical impact than producing paper from virgin materials.
Okay.
So Why else recycle? So this was really interesting. Paper in a landfill, because of the way there's no oxygen getting into it, because it's just shoved down under, tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be broken down by organisms that
Okay.
produce methane.
Of course.
And if it wasn't going to be broken down in that way, there would be no methane produced. And the EPA identifies paper as one of the largest sources of landfill methane.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy? I never even
wow.
thought about that.
Yeah, because we think paper is biodegradable, right? One of our favorite words. Because everything's biodegradable, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And then Tree Hugger says 1 ton of paper in a landfill will turn into 1.38 tons of CO2 equivalents.
Whoa, okay, so it's multiplying. Okay.
Yeah.
Almost doubling.
More than the original. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that crazy? And then in 2018, paper and paperboard made up almost 12% of the municipal solid waste in U.S. landfills.
Jeezy.
There's a lot of paper and
yeah.
paperboard out there.
Wow. Okay.
So recycling is, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I'm going to talk about compost real quick. So Tree Hugger says you can compost your paper.
Okay.
In like a home paper facility, or if your city or county runs a
composting program.
Yes.
I compost just between us chickens, my paper towels that don't have, too much oil on them, and or Windex, and other paper products that can't be recycled. Like I thought chipboard couldn't be. It looks like in Austin it can be, but
Okay.
I would compost my chipboard.
Okay. Yeah, so what Tree Hugger is saying is that composting only cuts down on landfill emissions, which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't offset the virgin paper production.
Yeah, that
so
makes
it's not
sense.
being put back into the system to be reused.
Right.
But they have advice, if you do compost, use paper and other, sort of like composting in general, but put paper with the other brown materials like
Right.
leaves in a 50-50 ratio with the green materials like kitchen scraps. And then that should maximize the performance. So you can compost it. It's not,
Okay.
it's not a bad thing. It's just not being recycled to be used again.
Right.
Only 5 to 7 times. So
yeah,
let's be honest.
At the end of its life. I mean, napkins and things that can't be recycled. Why not?
Yeah, or it's newspapers toward the end of its life. Egg cartons, those are probably, I don't even know if those are recyclable, those paper egg cartons.
Yeah, I wonder. Those I'd probably compost. Put them with your eggs.
Yeah, you probably could. That's not a bad use. Oh, I did read a lot of cardboard. People always say like, oh, just put it in your garden, blah, blah, blah. A lot of it actually has a lot of chemicals in it. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Somebody was
could be
warning
seeping into groundwater. Well, you have to make sure you take all the tape off. Like,
yes.
That's plastic.
And we'll get into how to recycle paper and cardboard best. Okay, what about cardboard? So I didn't look a ton into cardboard because, again, I was feeling a little lazy maybe. I don't know what it was. I'm just busy, okay? But I did want to know, like I said, I was curious about the Amazon boxes. So 80% of products bought in the EU and the US are covered in cardboard, first off.
Okay. Wow.
80%.
Holy
and
moly.
If your cardboard has food residue, like we said, it's going to end up in the landfill.
Yeah. It's impossible.
You're not going to do anything with it. So think twice about that takeout pizza.
And so that would be true of like coffee cups too then?
Oh, like paper coffee cups?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Because most of them are plastic lined too. I wonder. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. So that is kind of tricky. And I think it depends on the area. But what I wrote was, if your cardboard has food residue, oils, lots of tape, which we'll get into, foam peanuts, or plastic delivery labels, like from, I don't know, what is it? FedEx has those big plastic labels. Then it's going in the landfill, even if it's cardboard. Okay. So, and then I wrote, not all recycling centers accept thin cardboard like cereal boxes, but some do. I think mine does. I think it does because it wasn't
I
on
think
that list.
I just saw I just Googled Austin's and I think it does. So I've
Okay.
been lied to. Somebody told me I had to put it in compost, but I
So,
don't.
I mean, that's the thing. It's so confusing because there's no federal law. It's like
Right.
whatever a community can support is what they manage. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's frustrating. And then some recycling centers can actually process wax covered cardboard. So maybe that's kind of what
Ooh.
you're wondering.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like we sometimes get milk in the wax covered
Yeah,
half
cartons.
gallons.
Yeah.
And I was always confused. And I
Yeah.
guess I should look it up actually because I'm not 100%
Yeah, I wonder if my
clear.
coconut milk jug can get.
Yeah. And then okay, so cardboard is pretty easy to recycle and it's like very recycle friendly.
Okay.
And it will get recycled into either paper bags, paper towels, tissues, regular paper, or more cardboard. But again, cardboard you can only recycle 5 to 7 times.
Right.
I
I
thought
wonder
that
how
was
they.
only paper. I was like,
No.
well, cardboard's
Well,
gonna
it's
be
all paper
better.
products. I wonder how they tell that it's been. I don't know
I
how
don't
many times
know.
you can tell. They're like, oh,
They're
this is
like,
your third round, buddy.
right.
2 more and you're going in the landfill.
Each little fiber has like a tally on it,
Yeah. You can see it in a microscope.
little
Yeah.
tattoos. Okay, on to should you recycle paper and cardboard from 4 perspectives. So
Okay.
let's look at the greenhouse gas perspective. Yes, because it emits less.
Okay.
From the chemical pollution perspective, yes, because it produces fewer or uses fewer chemicals. From a water perspective, yes, but both do use a lot of water. So recycling uses 12,000 gallons per ton of water to recycle it. And then to create it from virgin uses 24,000 gallons.
Okay. So it's half.
It's
Yeah.
half. So that's significant, but it's still a lot. That's
Yeah.
12,000 gallons. And from a deforestation perspective, yes, because it doesn't contribute to deforestation.
Okay.
So overall, yes, you should
Yes. Let's
recycle your
keep
paper.
doing it, America. You're already doing it. Just
Yes.
keep it up.
Yeah, and honestly, coming into this sort of 4-part recycling series, I expected it all to be like, don't bother, it's stupid. So I feel like because like I said, because I have read so many articles about how the system is broken, I just expected all of it to be broken. But it's like, oh no, actually paper is really important to recycle. However,
Dun dun dun.
well, it's actually not that bad.
Okay.
But I'm just changing gears because really the issue is we have to remember reduce, reuse, recycle
Yes.
in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, folks. I am having to hop on here during editing because I realized that I forgot to include a granola rating. And we can't go another week without our dose of granola. Goodness. So, if you're new here, each episode we rate products on a scale from 1 to 5 granolas, and the crunchier the better, because obviously. So, 1 is bad, 1 is soggy, and then 5 is amazing, and it's a break your tooth off kind of granola. So I ran this by Kat for her take, and I decided to rate paper recycling a 3.5, which is kind of cheating, but so 3 is chewy, which isn't great, but it's not bad. And then 4 is crunchy. So Kat rated aluminum recycling a 4 because it's endlessly recyclable. And I knew that I just couldn't rate paper the same because you can only recycle it like a handful of times. So anyway, we're going 3.5. So it's not bad. It's not the best out there. And it's always better to reduce. Okay, back to the regular show. So, everywhere, all of the things online said reduce the amount of paper you use. And
What do you know?
I was like, okay, can you tell me how?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm already not printing anything.
Yeah. So I Googled it because I figured everybody else is going to be like, if I just sit here and say, use less paper, everybody, they're going to be annoyed because I would be. So I found some pretty cool ideas. And one of them is a really easy and cheap way. You do have to pay $4, but supported by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. What's it stand for?
FTC is a Federal Trade Commission, yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I said. Didn't you hear me?
Yeah.
They have a website, and it's going to be in the show notes. 2 options: how to stop junk mail. There's a link you can follow, and you can sign up for getting less mail from marketers.
Yeah,
and
get rid of those magazines.
Yes, and stopping credit card and insurance offers in the mail.
I definitely have signed up for that.
Okay, so those are the 2 options. The less mail is $4, but it's $4 for life. So it's permanent. Maybe if you, I don't know if you move actually. I think I'll pay another $4 if I move. It's fine.
Just don't get that Starbucks cold brew that one day.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have that link because I think that's a really cool service because I get like a stack of junk paper in the mail every week, and it's really annoying. And that seems like an easy way. So I can try to remember to keep everybody updated on if it actually makes a difference. But another thing, avoid paper towels when possible.
Hey, we have a show about that.
We have a whole episode. Yeah, we have an on paper towels episode. I think, wasn't that our first one?
Yeah, I think it was episode 1.
Yeah.
So go back and listen.
Yes. So then about books, buy used books.
Duh. Okay.
Right. A little bit of a duh, but it's sometimes you don't think about it because I used to work for a used bookstore, and I feel like these stores are hidden gems, and they're unfortunately hidden. It's like, I don't know why, but I never thought about it before
I love used
working
bookstores.
there.
Yeah.
And I had visited them, but I never really thought about like getting most of my books from these places because it depends on the quality, and the stores sometimes aren't that great. But.
Right. And you like Pulp Fiction or whatever, like you're not necessarily going to find the latest Pulitzer Prize winning novel.
Right.
But
you might. I mean, if you get lucky.
I always used to, when I was like a poor grad student, I would go to the used bookstore down the street, and that's what I got everyone for Christmas.
Yes.
Used books.
That's what I did when I was working there. So all you have to do is search used bookstore on Google, and you'll most likely find like several near you.
There's
that you
half price
know
books
about.
Here in Austin, down south, and there's a bunch of them. I mean, okay, I'm gonna promote the best used bookstore in the world. Your public library, people. They're amazing.
How did I not even have that on here? I go to the library all the time. No, it's true though. That is number 1 for sure. I will also promote, if you really need to buy this book or buy a book, Wonder Book is the one that I used to work at, and they do online shipping, and it's free. So
there you go.
It's like nice. Everybody thinks, oh, Amazon, but there's so many out there.
There's still bookstores. I mean, Amazon was, fun fact, specifically created to try and put bookstores out of business. And which is pretty evil of a premise.
It is. I hear Barnes & Noble is bouncing back, and that's actually like, I feel really good about that, even though Barnes & Noble was also
a conglomerate bookstore. But
so
like
funny.
I love, there's still local book, like we have Book People here in Austin. There's Page One Books in Albuquerque, I know. Like these are great, and they sell used books too, usually. They sell both. So
yes. So, but library 100%. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
So, if you do use Amazon or other delivery services, although it's good to cut down, but we aren't perfect. You can do a couple things. One, choose Amazon Day for your delivery day, and then they'll
combine.
If they're fulfilled by Amazon, you can check on the page, on the listing. If they're all fulfilled by Amazon, they will combine them in one package. If they're not, if they're like Amazon, if they're fulfilled by Amazon.com, that means it's like a third-party vendor. It's probably going to be shipped from elsewhere. Do what you can.
Yeah.
Green Matters talks about frustration-free packaging. Have you ever seen this option on
No.
Amazon? I have, and I didn't know what it was, and I assumed that it was stupid, but it's actually kind of cool because they basically ship it to you. You know, you usually get a box and a box and a box.
Yeah.
They ship it to you, I think, in the original box
Oh.
or like a smaller recyclable box without all the bubble wrap, without all the extra stuff. So they're saving money as a company, and you have less crap that
Yeah.
is mailed
Why
to
don't
you.
they just do that naturally? I don't understand.
I don't know. I think people. I don't know.
It's
That's a
like
great
maybe
question.
they just at the factories have like certain size boxes and they only like no thought goes into it. It's just put it in the box, put it in the box. Because I know
Yeah.
that Amazon workers have to put so many things. The pickers have to do so much with it. You know,
Right.
it's probably
Yeah.
just
It's
a
already
rush,
it seems
thoughtless
like
kind of thing. Yeah.
right. They just got to get through it. Um. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more work up front for them, but not everything offers frustration-free packaging. But if you do see it, use it because it's kind of a cool thing. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
UNICEF had this really random, really off the wall recommendation. Use the font. If you need to print something off, use Garamond instead of Times New Roman.
Because it's less ink.
It has the equivalent. This is a quote from UNICEF. It has the equivalent of a 10-point font rendered on a 12-point line while still being legible.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just.
So I think it means it's just smaller.
It looks. Yeah, but it looks bigger.
Yeah, it's still legible at 10 point.
Font designers.
So I'm assuming that means if you have to print off a shitload of pages, you're going to be printing less.
Yeah, it'll do it. So it looks like a 12-point font, but it's on a 10-point. It's a 10-point font. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, you can fit more on the page.
Yeah.
Okay, kids, if
Isn't
you're
that
writing your
weird?
college paper, I don't think anybody prints college papers anymore. If they tell you to write 5 pages, use Times New Roman.
No, Garamond.
No. But if you're just writing it and sending it over email or whatever, it'll be. Remember, because you used to do the 2.25 spacing. They're like, it's double spaced, and you're like, it's just a little bit bigger.
That was always so stressful. You're like, please fit. Please just get to the
Please
right
just
page
be
limit.
5 pages. And you'd get to 4 3/4 and just be like, all right, 12.5 font, 2.2 spacing. We got 5 pages.
God.
Turn it in.
Although, let's be honest, kids are just using AI to write everything these days. So
Oh, well.
they can
apparently.
fill it up. Okay. Tree Hugger says, when you must buy paper, look for 100% post-consumer recycled paper to support the value of recycled commodities.
Yep.
And that is my paper recycling episode.
I love it.
How did it end up longer than your aluminum one?
Well,
What the
because
hell?
we talked for days and days about your plants problems.
Oh, that's true.
We talked about deer. And then we had several moments of clearing our throats on mute and laughing at each other for it. So.
That's true. That'll all get it.
But that was great. We spoke for the library, and I think anytime you can speak for the library is a good time.
No, for real though. They are actually under attack, and it's very upsetting.
It's so upsetting. They're so important.
But yeah, if I didn't have the library, I don't think I would be a sane mother, to be honest.
No.
Mine are so great.
Yeah.
Just take her there for 2 hours, and it's like, oh, I can
Here you
kick my feet up. So what's happening next week?
Next week, I believe we are talking about glass recycling, which would be our third horseman of the recycle-pocalypse.
Yes.
And this is probably famine or pestilence. We're really getting into. I don't know. I haven't done the research yet. Right. I know plastic is death, as we're saying. Plastic is death.
100%.
But yeah, I think glass recycling, because I know it's a problem for a lot of places. So I will report back next week.
The good news is we're also going to have an episode a bit later in the season, a mini episode about how to reuse jars.
Yeah. So, can't wait.
Easily. I've been experimenting for years, and I found some really good tricks and tips.
Okay. Well, I need to learn them because my roommate has a stash, and I'm like, why don't we just recycle these?
I'm a hoarder. I am a jar hoarder.
There's a lot of jars, and I don't know where the lids are half the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can buy new ones, but anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. All right. Well, thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Kat.
And thank you to our listeners. Oh, yes. By the way, follow us on Instagram. We are Greening Up My Act. You can find us there. We will have, I don't know, the Apocalypse Pony clip, possibly. No, that's from last week, but we'll see what we have up there this week. But Tiffany always has a wealth of wonderful things to post. And we share a lot of information about news that we find out and people that we like following. So follow us on Instagram.
Yes, whatever cool stuff I come across. And I'm like, oh, sweet, you can grow strawberries from slicing a strawberry in half. It makes so much sense, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah,
that's
100%. Yep. Good stuff.
Alrighty.
Good night. Or whenever you're listening to this, have a good one, whatever it is.
Yes, have a good one. Shoot. Hold on, this thing is all blocked.